You're not nervous about anything right now. Nothing bad is happening. Life is actually okay. But your heart is beating a little faster than it should. Your shoulders are tight. You've read the same sentence 3 times and still can't concentrate. You snapped at someone this morning and you're not sure why. You couldn't sleep last night, not because you were worried about anything specific, just because your brain refused to switch off. You told yourself, "I'm just tired, I'm just stressed. This is normal." But what if it isn't? What if your body has been sending you signals for months, maybe even years, and you've been too busy to notice? What if the thing you've been calling "just how I am" actually has a name, a cause, and most importantly, a solution? Today, we're talking about 7 signs you have anxiety and don't even know it. Not the obvious kind, not panic attacks in public or fear of flying. The quiet kind. The kind that hides inside your daily routine and convinces you that everything is fine. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may understand yourself in a way you never have before. Before we get into the signs, let's make sure we're on the same page about what anxiety actually is, because most people have the wrong picture in their heads. When most people hear the word anxiety, they imagine someone hyperventilating in a corner, trembling with fear, unable to leave the house. And yes, that is one form of anxiety, but it is the extreme end of a very wide spectrum. Anxiety, at its core, is your brain's alarm system. It is designed to protect you. When your ancestors heard the roaring of a surging ocean, their brains flooded their bodies with stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, to make them run faster, fight harder, or freeze in place. That response saved lives. The problem is that your brain cannot always tell the difference between a surging ocean wave and a difficult email from your boss, between a physical threat and a social one, between real danger and imagined danger. So the alarm goes off, even when there is nothing to run from. And when that alarm stays on, quietly, in the background, day after day, that is anxiety. Not always dramatic, not always visible, but always present. Always costing you something: your sleep, your focus, your relationships, your peace. The reason so many people don't know they have it is simple. They've lived with it so long, it feels like personality. It feels like that's just who I am. But it's not who you are. It's what your nervous system is doing. And those are very different things. Sign number 1, and this one is going to hit close to home for a lot of people. You worry a lot, but you don't call it worrying. You call it planning. You call it being careful. You call it thinking ahead. You tell yourself, "I'm just a responsible person. I like to be prepared." And maybe that's partly true. But here's the question that separates healthy planning from anxiety-driven worry. Does the worrying stop when the plan is made? For most people, the answer to a problem is a plan. You make the plan, you feel better, you move on. But for someone with anxiety, making the plan doesn't stop the worry. The worry just finds something new to attach to. You finish worrying about one thing, and immediately another concern appears. It is endless. It is exhausting, and it never fully resolves. Psychologists call this generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. And one of its core features is what's called worry chains. One worry leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. Your mind is constantly scanning for the next threat, the next problem, the next thing that could go wrong. You might find yourself running through worst-case scenarios constantly, mentally rehearsing difficult conversations that haven't happened yet, feeling unable to enjoy the present because you're already worried about the future, waking up in the middle of the night with your mind racing about things you can't control. This isn't responsibility. This is your nervous system stuck in overdrive. and recognizing it is the first step to changing it. Sign number 2, and this one surprises a lot of people because it has nothing to do with feelings. You have gone to the doctor, maybe multiple times. You've complained about headaches that come and go, chest tightness, a knot in your stomach that never fully goes away, muscle tension, especially in your neck, shoulders, and jaw, digestive problems, bloating, nausea, irritable bowel, dizziness, fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. The tests come back normal. The doctor says there's nothing physically wrong. And you feel confused because the symptoms are absolutely real. You're not imagining them. Here's what's happening. When anxiety activates your body's stress response, it triggers real physical changes throughout your body. Your muscles tighten, ready to fight or flee. Your digestive system slows down because digestion is not a priority when you're in danger. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your immune system is suppressed. When this happens occasionally, in a genuinely stressful situation, your body recovers. But when anxiety is chronic, when the alarm is always quietly ringing, these physical responses become chronic too. Your body never fully relaxes. The tension becomes your resting state. Research shows that up to 80% of people with anxiety disorder first present with physical symptoms, not emotional ones. This means that many people are being treated for physical conditions that are actually anxiety in disguise. So if your body keeps telling you something is wrong and the tests keep coming back clear, please consider that the message might be coming from your mind, not just your muscles. Sign number 3. You are tired. Genuinely, deeply tired. Your body wants to sleep, but the moment your head hits the pillow, your brain wakes up. Suddenly you're thinking about that thing you said 3 years ago. You're replaying a conversation from yesterday, thinking about what you should have said differently. You're mentally running through tomorrow's to-do list. You're catastrophizing about something that may never happen. You try to force yourself to sleep. You check your phone. You check the time. You calculate how many hours you have left if you fall asleep right now. That calculation makes you more anxious, which makes it harder to sleep, which makes you check the time again. Sound familiar? This is one of the most overlooked signs of anxiety, what researchers call hyperarousal. Your nervous system is stuck in a state of alertness. Even when your body is exhausted, your brain is still scanning for threats. And because nighttime is quiet, because there are no distractions, no tasks to complete, no people to respond to, your anxious mind has full permission to run wild. Over time, this creates a painful cycle. Poor sleep worsens anxiety. Anxiety worsens sleep. Round and round it goes. The cruel thing about this sign is that exhausted people often blame themselves. Why can't I just relax? What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what an anxious brain does at night. It is protecting you from threats that aren't there. Understanding this doesn't instantly fix the sleep problem, but it is the first step, because you can't solve a problem you haven't correctly named. Sign number 4, and this one is subtle, which is exactly why so many people miss it. You don't go to certain social events. You always have a reason. You're tired, you're busy. It's not really your scene. You delay making phone calls you need to make. You put off having conversations that make you uncomfortable. You avoid conflict at almost any cost. You find reasons not to speak up in meetings. You cancel plans, not because something came up, but because when the time gets closer, an unnamed dread settles in, and staying home feels so much safer. You tell yourself you're an introvert. You tell yourself you're just private. You tell yourself you simply prefer your own company. And maybe some of that is true. But here's the important distinction. Introverts recharge by being alone. Anxious avoiders avoid because they are afraid, even if they can't name the fear. This behavior is called avoidance, and it is one of anxiety's most powerful tools. Because avoidance works. In the short term, when you cancel that plan or skip that event, you feel immediate relief. The dread lifts. You feel better. But here's the trap. Every time you avoid something, you send your brain a message. That situation was dangerous. Good thing we didn't go. And your brain files that away. The avoidance grows. The list of safe places gets smaller. The world starts to feel more threatening than it actually is. Over time, anxiety shrinks your life, quietly, gradually, without you fully noticing. Until one day you realize you haven't done something you used to love in a very long time. Sign number 5, and this one damages relationships before people even realize what's happening. You snap at people you love. Small things irritate you disproportionately. Traffic, noise, someone chewing too loudly, a simple question that feels like an interrogation. You know your reaction is too big for the situation, but in the moment, you can't stop it. And afterward, you feel guilty. And the guilt adds another layer of tension. And the tension makes the next irritation worse. Most people, and even most doctors, don't connect irritability to anxiety. We associate anxiety with fear and worry, not anger. But irritability is one of anxiety's most common and most overlooked symptoms, particularly in men, teenagers, and people from cultures where expressing fear or sadness is not socially acceptable. Here's why it happens. When your nervous system is in a constant state of low-level alert, your tolerance threshold drops dramatically. Think of it like this. Imagine your nervous system as a cup. Everyday stresses fill the cup. When the cup is already full, because anxiety has been quietly filling it all day, even one small drop causes it to overflow. That overflow looks like irritability, like snapping, like an outburst that seems disproportionate. You are not an angry person. You are an overwhelmed nervous system wearing an angry mask. And the people around you, the ones you love most, are often the safest targets, which is why they bear the brunt of it. Recognizing this doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does explain it, and explanation is where change begins. Sign number 6, and this one often looks like strength from the outside. You are organized. You plan everything. You hate surprises. You find it very difficult to delegate because you genuinely believe that if you don't do it yourself, it won't be done right. You like things a certain way. Changes in plans, even small ones, make you disproportionately uncomfortable. When something is uncertain or unpredictable, you feel an overwhelming urge to fix it, resolve it, know the outcome right now. People around you might even admire this about you. She's so on top of things. He's so reliable. They never let anything slip. But on the inside, it is exhausting because control is an illusion, and anxiety knows this better than anyone. The reason anxious people need control so desperately is because control feels like the antidote to uncertainty, and uncertainty is what anxiety fears most. When you can't control something, an outcome, a relationship, another person's opinion of you, the anxiety spikes, and so you work harder to control the things you can. Your environment, your schedule, your image, your appearance, other people's behavior. This need for control is anxiety's way of trying to keep you safe. If I can just know everything, plan everything, control everything, then nothing bad can surprise me. Then I'll be okay. But life doesn't work that way. And the gap between what you can control and what you cannot is where anxiety lives. Learning to tolerate uncertainty, not eliminate it, just tolerate it is one of the most powerful things you can do for your mental health. Sign number 7, and this is perhaps the quietest and most constant sign of them all. You wait for things to go wrong. Even when everything is going well, especially when everything is going well, there is a quiet voice in the back of your mind whispering, "This won't last. Something is about to go wrong. Don't get too comfortable." Good news arrives, and instead of celebrating, your mind immediately jumps to everything that could go wrong next. You get a promotion, and before you can enjoy it, you're worrying about whether you can handle it. You have a great day, and somewhere in the evening, a shadow creeps in, a sense that something must be coming to balance it out. Psychologists call this catastrophizing, the tendency to automatically assume the worst possible outcome in any situation. And it goes hand in hand with what's sometimes called anticipatory anxiety. Anxiety about things that haven't happened yet and may never happen. Your brain has essentially learned to treat good things as warnings. Things are calm. That means danger is coming. Let me prepare. This isn't pessimism. This isn't a character flaw. It is a nervous system that has been trained, often through painful past experiences, to stay alert even during peace. It learned that safety is temporary, so it never fully lets its guard down. The exhausting thing about this sign is how much life you miss while waiting for the worst to arrive. Joyful moments pass through fingers that are too tense to hold them. This can change, but it starts with recognizing the pattern and understanding that preparing for the worst is not the same as being realistic. Sometimes it is just anxiety doing what anxiety does best, keeping you afraid. So you've recognized yourself in some of these signs. Maybe one, maybe all 7. What do you do now? First, breathe, and I mean that literally and figuratively. The single fastest way to calm an activated nervous system is slow, controlled breathing. When you breathe out longer than you breathe in, try breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4, and breathing out for 6. You activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That is your body's built-in off switch for the stress response. It works within minutes. Use it. Second, name what you're feeling. Research by neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman shows that simply labeling an emotion, saying, "I feel anxious right now," reduces its intensity in the brain. Name it to tame it. Third, challenge your thoughts. When catastrophic thinking kicks in, ask yourself, is this thought a fact or a fear? What is the evidence for it? What is the most realistic outcome? Not the worst, not the best, but the most realistic. This is the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, the most well-researched treatment for anxiety. Fourth, reduce avoidance gradually. You don't have to face everything at once, but start small. Make one phone call you've been putting off. Attend one social event you would normally skip. Every small act of courage sends your brain a new message. That was okay. I survived. I can do this. Fifth, talk to someone, a therapist, a counselor, a trusted friend. Anxiety thrives in silence and isolation. Bringing it into the light, into conversation, weakens its hold significantly. And sixth, please know this. Anxiety is one of the most treatable mental health conditions that exists. With the right support, the right tools, and the right understanding, it genuinely gets better. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are a person with an overactive alarm system, and alarms can be recalibrated. Before you go, I want to leave you with something important. If you recognized yourself in this video, in one sign or in all 7, I want you to know that recognition is not a diagnosis. It is not a verdict. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is simply information. And information is power. Anxiety is not a character flaw. It is not weakness. It is not all in your head. Well, technically, it is in your brain. But your brain is a physical organ, and what happens there is as real as what happens in your heart or your lungs. You are not your anxiety. You are a person experiencing anxiety. And that distinction matters more than you know. Millions of people around the world, people who appear strong, capable, successful, and calm on the outside, are managing anxiety every single day. And many of them are living full, meaningful, joyful lives. Not because the anxiety disappeared, but because they learned to understand it, work with it, and refuse to let it make decisions for them. That is available to you too. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who might be quietly going through this alone. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for another person is simply show them they are not alone. Take care of your mind. It is the only one you have.